Can't have that. New year, new me. No. Same abrasive personality that I've always had. And you definitely shouldn't spray your farm. Welcome back to American Beef Ranch. My name is Jesse. Today, I just want to take a few minutes and talk about why and give you some good, hard data on why you shouldn't spray anything on your farm. Why herbicides and pesticides are never going to get you to a point of soil health. If soil health isn't really your concern, then okay, keep spraying your farm. That's fine. But if you want to get to a point where food quality and soil health are what you really, really want at the end game, you're going to quit spraying your farm. There's no way around it. And guys, look, the reason we spray most commonly because of pests or because of weeds. And what we know to be true, which we all know to be true, is that weeds grow because of a condition, not because the seed of the weed is present. Weed seeds will lay in the ground and remain dormant for years and years and years, and there's nothing you can do about it. Weeds sprout under certain soil conditions, and those are unhealthy conditions, with no doubt. No matter what, when a weed sprouts, it is in an unhealthy condition. The same thing can be said for a pest. When the soil has a condition that allows those pests to thrive, they thrive. Whatever unhealthy thing that is, however you get there. Conventional guys, they're like, well, we got weeds, we need to spray because they get into the crop, they affect yield. There is tests that show that weeds affect yield. There's also tests on the other side of the aisle that show that weeds share nutrients with crop and can actually help improve crop health and crop vigor and keep your yield at a reasonable level if the weeds aren't out of control, right? And that's the big thing. If you guys don't want to see weeds all over the place. In fact, even your government doesn't want to see noxious weeds all over the place, and they force you to control them in some manner. The question that I have for them and for you is, if weeds have only gotten worse over time, which they continue to get worse, we continue to have more problems with weeds year after year, why do we keep using the same methods to try to control those weeds? Why do they force you, and they will fine you if you don't control those weeds in a manner that's not going to correct it? It comes down to farmers are really good at treating the symptom of the problem, right? So the soil is not working properly. The symptom of that is we have higher weed pressure than we should. So we treat the weed pressure, or we treat the pest pressure. The bugs, the bad bacteria, the bad funguses, all those, we treat those. We spray those. We don't, however, fix or get to the root of the problem. We don't go down to like, okay, why are these pests here? Let's fix that. Why are these weeds growing here? Let's fix that. And it's not because of the weed seed, right? It's not. It is far beyond the weed seed. And then guys will say, well, organic growers, they struggle with weeds a lot also. And they do. And the problem with a lot of organic growers, and I talk to guys about this a lot, is that organic growers, a lot of them conventionally farm an organic farm. It's a different thought process to go through and look at an organic farm and figure out how to, farm that in a way of soil health. A lot of organic farms are just conventional farms farming organically. So they don't spray and they don't do all that stuff. Well, and there's still organic sprays, which are really bad also. So, and keep that in mind. And organic farmers are probably even harder on their ground than a conventional farmer is, because they may not be spraying and nuking the biology with a spray, but they're turning the biology so many times that they're killing it that way. So like in a typical organic farm, a lot of times you'll see, a heavy tillage pass, 2 light tillage pass, a planter pass, 2 finger weed passes, 3 cultivation passes, and then a harvest pass. We're going over the field and turning the dirt so stinking much that we're killing any of the bugs doing the work anyway. And so soil health is not something we can get to in a in a lot of organic farms, not all of you guys, and I'm not belittling anyone here, I'm just stating what we know to be true. The big reason that you do not want to spray your farm is if you want to make leaps in your soil health, spraying is always going to retract the value that you get out of correcting soil issues. Let me give you an example. So I've been selling fertilizer for 3 years, and we sell the fertilizer as basically a two-pronged product. One, it's going to fertilize the crop and give you a good crop. Number two, because of its form and function and where it comes from, it's going to help condition the soil and improve the soil condition. It's going to help improve the soil health. And it's absolutely true. We've seen it on conventional and on organic ground. The huge difference, the huge glaring difference is that ground, like this ground here, that hasn't been sprayed and is given this product versus ground that is in a conventional program, in conventional tillage, conventional spray, everything about it is conventional, that the effect of the fertilizer is greatly reduced on the conventional ground. The conventional ground does not respond as good as the non-sprayed ground whatsoever. And people wonder, well, how can that be possible? And I've come to a little bit of a conclusion about that. In my mind, the reason that the ground, like this ground that hasn't been sprayed for 20 years, seeds, even though the farm was not ran, in a form of soil health, it was continually grazed, had a lot of compaction, and, those things before, right? Versus a conventional farm is that conventional farm is consistently putting out spray. The only thing that can break down the spray that you put down, the herbicides and the pesticides, is biology. So those bugs that you haven't nuked and killed are going to work on that herbicide and pesticide and basically killing themselves to eliminate it from the soil. So they don't ever get a chance to condition the soil like they would on a farm that hasn't been sprayed. So you take a farm like this that may have been conventionally grazed for 20 years, had high compaction, had a lot of other issues, but it was not sprayed. You let the ground breathe a little bit, let the bugs breathe a little bit, and you give them just a few of the key minerals that are missing in the soil, and they make a huge difference. If you look at my farm from 2021 when we started to 2024, the change in the soil as far as organic matter, pH, micro macronutrients that are in the soil here is astronomical compared to the conventional farms that I have worked on. Now, yes, the fertilizer is still doing something for those conventional growers, but because we continually nuke that system, we are losing value from that fertilizer. So I have to tell you guys, if you really want soil health in your farm, you're going to have to greatly reduce and eventually eliminate spray at all costs. That's the only way you're truly going to get to a point of really high soil health. And look, I'm not saying we're going to eliminate inputs completely, because I don't think in a production setting of agriculture we're going to be able to do that. We're still going to have to add bits and pieces, but the amounts is going to greatly decrease. And that's huge, because if we can knock inputs, if I could knock inputs down by 50% for my farmers, they would be the most profitable farmers in the world. Like, there's no way around it. If we can continually help improve soil, which we can, but if you can cut the chemicals and you can cut the spray out of that system, and the anhydrous ammonia and any of the other chemical products out of the system, it's only going to exponentially benefit your soil health journey. Look, we can get to soil health a billion different ways, but cutting out the things that we've been doing that have got us to the point that we're at are probably on top of that list. So chemicals got to go. God bless. Have a wonderful day. I hope you had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll see you next time.